Good evening. Today, I want to talk to you about an incident that happened in Moradabad, Uttar Pradesh in India. An incident that many would rather sweep under the carpet, but I believe it deserves our attention. Not for outrage, not for divisiveness, but for understanding. 5 Muslim girls have been booked under Uttar Pradesh Anti-Conversion Act. Their crime? Forcing a 16-year-old Hindu girl to wear a burqa and pressuring her to convert to Islam. Now, before you form an opinion, let me walk you through the facts. Let me show you the data, let me give you the context, and then you decide. Because this isn't just about one incident in one town. This is about something much bigger, something that has been happening for centuries, and something that continues today. So let's begin. On December 20th, 2025, in the Sahu Kunj colony of Bilari town in Moradabad district, 6 teenage girls were walking home from their coaching center. 5 were Muslims, 1 was Hindu. What happened next was captured on CCTV cameras. According to the complaint filed by the Hindu girl's brother, Daksh Chaudhary, the Muslim girls placed a burqa over his 16-year-old sister. The footage shows them helping her wear it despite her apparent discomfort. The case came to light only in January 2026 when the brother filed an official complaint with the Bilari police station. An FIR has been registered under sections 3 and 51 of the Uttar Pradesh Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion of Religious Act. If convicted, the accused could face rigorous imprisonment ranging from 5 to 15 to 14 years, given that the victim is a minor. Now, let me give you the other side. Some reports suggest that the girls were simply trying to hide their Hindu friend from her brother so they could visit a restaurant together. The police investigation is examining both possibilities. But here's what the complainant states clearly. His sister had been in contact with these girls for about 2 months. During this time, he noticed changes in her behavior. He mentioned sustained pressure to convert to Islam. The Additional Superintendent of Police, Kanwar Akash Singh, confirmed that the investigation is ongoing, focusing on the backgrounds of all the girls involved and determining whether there was indeed a motive for religious conversion. Now, here's where things get concerning. This Moradabad incident is not happening in a vacuum. It is part of a disturbing pattern that affects Hindu communities, particularly Hindu women and girls across India and South Asia. Let me share some numbers with you. In just 6 months during 2024 to 2025, 114 documented cases of targeted crimes against Hindu women were recorded. These ranged from coercion to violence. 114 cases in 6 months. A weekly tracker documented over 30 cases in a single week in December 2025. 30 cases involving grooming, conversion, pressure, identity fraud, and targeted exploitation in 1 week. Now, here's the problem. There's no comprehensive official data on religious conversions in India. The government doesn't maintain detailed records on Hindu to Muslim or Hindu to Christian conversions. This makes it extremely difficult to understand the true scale of what is happening. But field research and documentation by various organizations paint a troubling picture. The Hinduphobia tracker documented 926 incidents of what is termed predatory proselytization targeting Hindus. The study reveals patterns and methods of coercion, coercive conversions that involve force, fraud, allurement, and systematic psychological pressure. Let me be very clear about something here. I'm not talking about genuine, voluntary religious conversion. Every human being has the right to choose their faith. That is fundamental. What I'm talking about is coercion, manipulation, targeting vulnerable individuals, especially minors, and subjecting them to sustained psychological pressure to abandon their identity. And this has consequences. Scientific research on coercive religious conversion show us the damage it causes. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence found that coercion in conversion practices is strongly linked to religious trauma responses and long-term psychological harm. The study specifically noted that coercion was associated with stronger trauma reactions. Another study in the Indian Journal of Psychiatry examined cases where individuals experienced severe psychological distress due to what researchers called undue influence in religious conversion attempts. Think about what this means. We're not just talking about changing one's religious affiliation. We are talking about identity erasure, psychological manipulation, trauma that can last a lifetime. And when the targets are children, teenagers, the harm is even greater. To truly understand what is happening here, we need to look at history. The history of Sanatana Hindu Dharma is one of extraordinary resilience in the face of sustained persecution from Muslims and Christians. I want to share some facts with you, facts that are documented, facts that are often ignored or downplayed. According to comprehensive historical research compiled, Sanatana Hindu Dharma has faced systematic genocide and 112 million Hindus have been massacred throughout history. 95 million Hindus have been subjected to torture. Let me give you specific examples so you understand this isn't rhetoric. In 1311 CE, when Malik Kafur invaded Madurai, the temple wealth looted was estimated at 96,000 months of gold. In today's value, that is approximately 233 billion US dollars. The massacre and destruction that accompanied this invasion devastated the Hindu population. During the Mughal period, particularly under Aurangzeb rule in the 17th century, Hindu temples were systematically destroyed. Sacred deities from Kanchipuram, including Varadaraj, Perumal, and Kamakshi Amman, had to be clandestinely removed and hidden to protect them from destruction. Priests risked their lives to preserve these sacred deities. In the 12th century, Bhaktiar Khilji set fire to Nalanda University, one of the greatest centers of learning in human history. 9 million Hindu scriptures were burned. The fire lasted for 6 months. 6 months. An entire civilization's accumulated knowledge reduced to ashes. Then came colonial rule. The British, the Christians, passed the Criminal Tribes Act in 1821, which labeled Hindu ascetics and monks as criminals by birth. The Mahanirvana Khara, one of the oldest monastic orders in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, saw its members getting persecuted under this law. In 1848, the British threatened to seize the kingdom of Travancore unless traditional Mahadhanams, charitable events that supported priests and scholars, were stopped. An essential Hindu tradition was forcibly ended. After 1947, many believed the persecution would end, but it didn't. It just changed form. In 1947, sovereign Hindu kingdoms were illegally annexed. Their sovereign immunity rejected. For example, the kingdom of Surangi, the kingdom of Travancore, and others lost their sovereignty and their independence. In the modern era, we see different tactics. Government interference in Hindu temple administration through laws such as the Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments Act. The 1982 Mahakaleshwar Mandir Act allowed the state to seize control of temple revenues and administration. There have been documented cases of spiritual leaders, Hindu leaders, facing persecution. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, has himself faced persecution for over 15 years just for reviving the Hindu civilization and for reviving the ancient indigenous Hindu kingdoms. He has faced over 70 assassination attempts, over 18,000 hours of defamatory online contents, and over 25,000 defamatory print articles. There have been over 120 false legal cases on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the ecclesiastical head of over the 2 billion Hindu diaspora globally. This is the context. This is the civilizational memory, and this is why incidents such as Moradabad matter, because they are not isolated, they are part of a continuum. But here's what gives me hope. Despite everything, despite 700 years of persecution, Sanatana Hindu Dharma survives, and more than that, it is experiencing a revival. And at the forefront of this revival is the remarkable work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, for reviving KAILASA, the only Hindu nation, the revival of the ancient enlightened Hindu civilizational nation, to protect and preserve the Hindu civilization. Let me tell you why all of existence that has profound relevance for the modern world. At its core are principles that humanity desperately needs right now. Ahimsa, non-violence, the recognition that all violence stems from the delusion of separation. When you realize you're not separate from the universe, you become naturally non-violent. The four tattvas, integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching, these aren't abstract concepts. They are practical tools for living an enlightened life. The concept of Jivan Mukti, living enlightenment, as taught, revived by Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam. The understanding that spiritual realization is not something distant or theoretical, but something that can be lived and experienced right now. The recognition of divine rights, not just human rights. The understanding that every being, every creature, every part of existence has inherent divinity and deserves to be treated as such. This is what's at stake when we talk about protecting Sanatana Hindu Dharma. We're not just protecting a set of rituals or beliefs. We are protecting a profound understanding of existence that humanity has developed, that the Hindu civilization has developed over thousands of years. So let me come back to where we started, the Moradabad Incident. Is it an isolated case of teenage friends trying to make a poor decision? Or is it part of a pattern of systematic pressure targeting Hindu youth? The investigation will determine that. But what is not in question is this. Coercive conversion is real. The psychological harm it causes is documented. The historical persecution of Sanatana Hindu Dharma is a fact. And the need to protect Hindu identity and practice is urgent. The solution isn't hatred. It isn't retaliation. It is awareness. It is education. It is ensuring the young Hindus understand the depth and the beauty of their own tradition and religion. It is supporting organizations that are doing the hard work of preservation and revival. The 16-year-old girl in Moradabad deserves to grow up proud of her heritage. So does every Hindu child across the world. Sanatana Hindu Dharma has survived 700 years of persecution because of resilience, because of dedication, because of ordinary people refusing to let their civilization die. Today, the responsibility is ours. Thank you for watching and good night.